everybody. We are back again here on A2D Radio with the Vetted Podcast with Irving Fryar and Hollis Thomas. I'm Irving. That's Big Dog Hollis right there next to me. Yeah.
Good evening.
How you doing?
Good afternoon. I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm good, man. I think the people will be better once you give them your read.
Ah, damn Skippy. And as you can see, I got my damn Skippy t-shirt on, which is we can find at phillysportshirts.com. But the Birds have started training camp. And if you're anything like me, you can, as you can see, I forgot to turn the volume down on my phone once again.
See? That's you this time.
And that was me this time. As if you're anything like me, you're going to go to phillysportshirts.com and get yourself one of these away game trips. Now, I would, like the last couple of times I've done my commercials, I forgot to mention our baller ass bus trips. We go down on bus trips. We've taken a lot of people down. We took about 20 buses down to DC to say what's up to Carson Wentz 1 year. And but the bus trips are tremendous. What's even better is the flight and the hotel. We stay in the best hotels, and we have one of the best menus known to man. So tell them you heard it here on A2D Radio from the tank, and go to phillysportstrips.com and book yourself a trip. Or you can just book a tailgate, or you can book tailgate and tickets, or you can just book a full package. The choice is yours. So go to phillysportstrips.com and tell them you heard it on A2D Radio and the tank sent you, and also phillysportshirts.com and get you a damn Skippy t-shirt.
We got to start giving those t-shirts out to our guests.
Yeah.
Oh, listen, we got a great show for everybody today. Listen, our agree to disagree statement is this: the Eagles will sweep the Cowboys this year. Do you agree? Yeah, the Eagles will sweep the Dallas Cowboys this coming season. Do you agree or do you disagree? What do you think, Big Dog?
I think that's like one of those big steps that I think we're ready to take now.
You think so? It's time.
Well, yeah, it was like when you when I first got it. Remember we split with them my rookie year,
right?
And then like once Andy got here, it took us a hot second to quit splitting with him and just start to sweep. We didn't sweep. It didn't take us a hot second. It took us to that 2000 season when we the pickle juice game when we opened up a whole can of whoop ass and poured it all over Texas Stadium, and. But it's like, but that's the game. Those two games when you start sweeping them, that's the coming of age games because you know how important that rivalry is.
That's right.
And
that's right.
This will be one of the hopefully, and I'm praying that this will be one of the first times that Dak and Jalen Hurts are healthy at the same time.
Yep. And I agree that the Eagles will sweep the Dallas Cowboys this year. Other than the Kansas City Chiefs, those are the most two important games to me.
Right.
We want to win them all, as many as we can, win the division, win the conference, win the Super Bowl, one at a time, one step at a time. But let's sweep the Dallas Cowboys. That will be sweet this year. Listen, everybody, we have a great, I'll say it one more time, great guest. He's in the green room right now.
Awesome guest.
Awesome. Say awesome sauce. You say awesome sauce.
Awesome sauce.
Yeah, you say it differently. I do. We're gonna bring him right on in. Ralph, can you bring him in? Dave Spadaro, the Eagles Insider. Oh my gosh, he's with us here at Vetted. Man, thanks, Dave, for coming in.
Two of my favorite guys, Irv, Hollis. How are you guys doing?
Appreciate you coming on. Here. Thanks, man. Appreciate you coming on.
I'm expecting. I get a T-shirt now, right? Like I heard what you said.
Damn, Skippy. What size do you wear?
What size do you wear? You take a large. All right.
I got you covered.
Well, listen, before we start bombarding you with questions, because you are the insider, you've been around for a long time with the. How many years you been with the Eagles?
So Eagles Digest started in 1989, but then I joined the team in '97.
Really? Wait a minute, you were there after me? No, because I always thought like I know you were writing this stuff the year. I know you were around and you were writing this stuff, so I thought you was always part of the Eagles Digest. So. I didn't know it was until the year after.
Yeah, Eagles Digest was not part of the organization. It was a joint venture with a publishing company. And so then I joined the team in '97 as plans were being made for the NovaCare complex, for Lincoln Financial Field. We expanded the media department, actually created a media department. And I was at the right place at the right time. And after all these years, still here. And loving every bit of it.
They must like you. That's a good thing. You're a good man.
I hope so. Thank you.
And when I want to stay in tune and in touch with the intricacies of what's happening with the Eagles, I always turn to your tweets, turn to your blogs, whichever it is that you do, and listen and read what it is you have to say, because you're right there with your finger on the pulse of what's happening over there at the NovaCare complex and what's happening in the locker room with the coaches and the players. Listen, before we get into the bombardment of questions, I want to congratulate you for your engagement, soon to be married, sir.
Congratulations, buds.
Thank you. August 12th, I get married on the 5th. We're getting married on the 50-yard line.
Oh, okay.
And for the first time since the strike of 1987, back then I was working for a newspaper in Westchester. For the first time since then, I will not be covering an Eagles game, only because the Ravens changed the date of the preseason game. It was supposed to be Thursday.
Right.
They moved it to Saturday, and my fiance would not move the wedding. So I'm going to miss the game.
So we already know who's in charge.
I think that goes without saying.
That's normally how things start off, though, you know.
Yes.
There's nothing like setting the tone. She's setting the tone. This is how it's going to be. We know it. We know it better than anybody. Happy wife, happy life.
Happy life. That's right.
Well, congratulations to you, man. All the best to you and your new bride. Yep. I know that you're happy because I can tell the way you look, the way you talk, the way you strut around like a peacock. You're just at the top of your world right now, and I'm just happy for you, man. So congratulations.
Thanks, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I'm happy for you too, man. I was like,
you'll get married twice.
I wasn't going to bring that up.
No three strikes and you're out, just twice. This is my second and last one as well.
Well, I've seen you in between marriages, and it seems like she's truly making you happy. I watched you progress to. I was like, dude, you just went outside and ran. I don't know nobody. Did you run or did you ride a bike? Because a lot of people don't know that you biking around town.
Yeah, I'm not a runner. I'm a bicycle guy. I'm a tennis guy and a golf guy. So anything I can do. Today was golf. My son's in town. My daughter's in town. So we're getting ready for the big August 12th celebration. So
cool.
Nice.
the party has started.
That's great.
Cool.
She put color in your skin too, because you were getting pale there for a while there, buddy. You get a little worried about you.
The blood flow is good.
There you go. That was nice. Yeah, that was a good comeback. Good comeback. Listen, you've been around with the Eagles, as you said, a long time.
Right.
A long time. And you've seen a lot of teams, a lot of different players come and go. There is something special about the Eagles right now that's maybe started last year, maybe even the year before, but there's a major buzz now, not just in Philadelphia, but all across the league about the Philadelphia Eagles. They're touted to be probably, if not the best, one of the top two teams in the league right now. What makes that team, what makes them so special? You're right there with them. You see them, you're involved with them on a daily basis. What makes this team so special? What is it that we're seeing right now?
A team that learned its lessons, that struggled after winning the Super Bowl in February of 2018, that wasn't getting the good play at the quarterback position from Carson Wentz, that made mistakes in the draft, in those 18, 19, even 20 drafts. Really bad night, 2020 season. You pivot away from Doug Peterson. Remarkably, once again, Jeffrey Lurie picks a coach in Nick Sirianni who he got it right. It's incredible the way Jeffrey is able to pick coaches. I mean, it's just amazing. All of them have made the playoffs. And then, you keep building at the line of scrimmage, a tried and true formula, and then you hit a home run, a grand slam with the quarterback. Yeah. And you've drafted really, really well in these last several drafts. So with that, it's a culture. There's tremendous leadership with Fletcher and Lane and Kelce and Graham, and these young guys follow suit. And the quarterback is somebody who, I mean, look, I've been around from the days of Randall and Jaws, and there have been a lot of great ones. This one is special in innate maturity. I mean, the guy's not going to be 25 years old until August 7th. Like, it's crazy. So, I mean, it's a very, very, it's a winning culture. It's a competitive environment. Internally, everybody works really well together. Everybody's, rowing in the same direction. And I think a lot of teams say they are, but that's really not the case. I think in the instance of the Philadelphia Eagles, they truly are. Coming off a very tough loss to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Now, you mentioned competition. Is there any particular battles for position, whether it be first team or second team, that you're clamoring at the bit to see how they work out?
I mean, I think right guard, Cam Jurgens is taking the reps right now. Tyler Steen is a third-round draft pick they're really have high hopes for him. He's taking second-team reps. There are other candidates there. I think the safety positions, right now it's Reed Blankenship and Terrell Edmonds, who gets the job there. I want to see Nakobe Dean at middle linebacker. I want to see how this running back room works out. And, I want to say this, like, it's not all perfect. I do want to see the Eagles establish depth at wide receiver behind A.J. Brown and behind Devontae Smith.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to see. You're right. You're walking right down the lane that I've been shouting about all off season. Because if something happens to God forbid AJ Brown or Devontae Smith, what's next? I mean, we do have Dallas Goedert, but he's not a wide receiver. He's the tight end. And what do we have behind him? So we really don't have a lot of depth when it comes to the tight end position. Remember when Dallas got hurt last year in the 10th week of the season?
Yeah.
We did not throw the ball to the tight end, and all three of them played the next game.
But
we didn't throw the ball their way.
But what's interesting, in those three games that Dallas missed, I think the Eagles scored 30-plus points in every game. You find other ways to score points.
Right.
And so let's segue into that. Okay, now look, at wide receiver, you need Quez Watkins to take that next step. After a so-so season, up and down season last year, he's very determined. He's got a chip on his shoulder, talented kid. If he is called upon to make plays, he must make plays. Olamide Zaccheaus played with the Atlanta Falcons last year, tough inside wide receiver. I like what he's going to bring to this offense. And I'll tell you, DeAndre Swift, now just watching Wednesday's practice and anticipating what DeAndre Swift can be, I'm really excited to see what he can do, not only in the run game, but really in the pass game, screen game. He can run the route tree. He
77 catches.
He can be something that Westbrook was, or that Darren Sproles was, and something Miles Sanders was not. Kenny Gainwell also has those kinds of skills. So I think that, behind two Pro Bowl caliber players in Smith and Brown, you don't have another Pro Bowl guy per se waiting, but you do have other options and other pieces that you can play and move around the formation in the offense.
So if we can real quick, you mentioned Quez Watkins' name. Have you noticed anything different about him? His approach, like you said, his attitude towards this year? He's got another level, taking his determination and focus to another level. Do you notice something different about him this year?
I think he's really focused, determined, pissed off, wants to step up, knows he had some opportunities that he didn't take advantage of last year. So I do notice that in Quez. I do notice a more kind of I don't want to say angry, but somebody who's, determined, more just kind of angry about the way he's being portrayed. And I think, look, he's going to get an opportunity here in the preseason. We'll see how he steps up. They're not going to play A.J. Brown. They're not going to play Devontae Smith. I can't imagine they would very much, if at all. So it's time for Quez to take that next step.
Yes, it is. We got to go to a commercial break. Hang in there, Dave. We'll be right back. Take it away, Ralph.
Hey, Birds fans, the NFL schedule has arrived and Philly Sports Trips has all the details now. Visit the site phillysportstrips.com. This is sure to be an epic season. Be sure to go there now to make sure that you don't get shut out. Join us in Tampa, LA, Seattle, or when we get revenge in Kansas City. Don't want to fly? No problem. Gather up your crew and hop aboard one of our signature boisterous bus trips to DC or New York. Sign up now and make sure to mention A2D. Don't miss out on the best Philly fan experience anywhere. Philly Sports Trip customers always stay at the best hotels and meet NFL legends. Book today.
All right, we're back, everybody. Thanks for being again here with us today. We have the great, none other than Dave Spadaro, Eagles Insider, with us today. Great information, great inside look at the Eagles. Listen, I wanted to talk real quick, go back, and this is something that Hollis and I have been mentioning or discussing the last couple of weeks, how in some of the other training camps, on some of the other teams, they have some unfinished business, and it's caused some rifts with their players and between management, and it's kind of put a hitch in their giddy up as they start the season in training camp. Unfinished business by contracts that are not signed, players that are still out there and are becoming disgruntled. But the Eagles, Howie Roseman, all the contracts are done. Everybody's settled. Everybody's in place. We have none of that kind of negative vibe, none of that negative atmosphere that can be created because of things like that. Talk about what Howie is doing right now and what a difference is making in compared to in past years, how things weren't necessarily as smooth back then.
I mean, look, it's a really well-run organization. They take care of business. They really do reach out to players to make sure they're happy. Like, I've been around long enough to remember the days of Norman Brayman and look, Irv. I mean, you know how much the early on back then, like that, there were tough times. Like it was early in Jeffrey Lurie's ownership and Joe Banner, and they were finding their way. And I think Jeffrey's a great owner, and I think the people who play for the Eagles, who work for the Eagles, really get treated very, very well. And so you don't have contract holdouts. Right. The Eagles communicate with their players. The Eagles don't bury their players to the media. And I think the players appreciate that. That doesn't happen everywhere. So, I remember coming out of the 2004 loss in the Super Bowl.
Oh God!
And there was such anger among the fans, right? It was like, hey, Andy Reid, how do you not run a hurry up offense at the end of the game there? Donovan McNabb, did you throw up? What's going on with his offense? But you don't have, the Eagles lost a tough game to the Kansas City Chiefs. And what we have now is an unbridled enthusiasm about this football team. The Eagles didn't come into the offseason and go, all right, we're going to soft pedal it here. We're going to lose some players. Instead, they were able to retain some key players. Right. They were able to add some really talented players in the draft and DeAndre Swift in a trade. They were smart in free agency, signing a bunch of guys to one-year deals. I mean, they went and they put the pedal to the metal. Right. And what you have is a reloading of the roster, not a team that's going to go, all right, we made a Super Bowl last year. We're going to take a step back now. That's not the way the Eagles operate. And I think that kind of translates through the whole organization. There are very high expectations within the organization.
Now, the one thing that you did mention was, I was like, we had got to the Super Bowl after 4 straight tries, and I think at that point, a lot of us were extremely tired of them doing what they were doing and not being a man of their words. And I think Howie and everybody has learned from that, because the people on the field need to be at least slightly happy. And I feel like when I go over that, when I come over there now, I see the distinct difference. We had a good time. Now, don't get me wrong, we had a tremendous time in doing what we did. I was like, but I think in the end, it was some stuff that I don't know if he was privy to, that I was privy to, because I was on the executive committee, that I felt like we lost that game like on Tuesday or Wednesday of the week leading up to that Super Bowl. And it was just like, and what you're talking about now is making sure the players are happy. That's the one thing that they did not do. And it started when I never told you this. When I got traded to the Saints, guess who was sitting in first class? The players, the players with the most years. That's who was sitting in first class. The head coach and everybody else was sitting back in the back. And you notice that year we went to the playoffs and they ended up winning. But no, and that's only a little thing, and that's a minute thing. But when you feel like somebody appreciates you, you get things done. Put it that way. You're not worried. You don't have that extra worry on the field.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I also think the way that Nick and company have strategized and scheduled the not only the training camp practices, but the spring workouts, and really not rushing players back to the field, taking care and consideration of their bodies, understanding that they played a really long season in 2022. understanding that they're coming off a very emotional loss to the Kansas City Chiefs, understanding that their bodies took a beating last year. So the way things are structured, like it's 1 day on, 1 day off, 1 day on, 1 day off. Heavy classroom work. Emphasize walkthroughs. Don't let players skate. Make sure they're accountable, but you don't have to beat their bodies down. And
yeah,
I'm not sure
what was that when we were playing?
Yeah,
what was that when we were playing?
Yeah, your bodies were beaten down, no doubt. You know, I know when players like you all come to practices now, you go, "Gosh, what is this country club? This is ridiculous."
Well, you know, the funny thing, Spuds, is like, I was like, man, I don't think they could have done us like that. It was one particular time, me and your favorite DA, Hugh Douglas, we rode. He had the nerve to bring a brand new Viper to practice, and my car was getting washed back at the dorm, so I rode back with him. So just think of my big ass crunched up in a Viper. So I get out of the car in the cafeteria, and I look over, but I don't see Hugh. I know he's gotten out of the car, but I don't see him. His back cramped up over his back cramped up on the side of the car. I was like, dude, you need a bigger vehicle.
Training camp. Yeah.
I gave Hugh a right shot to the arm yesterday. He walked by at the end of practice and he pinched my nipple. It hurt so much.
Ouch.
And I was so mad.
He knows how to inflict pain. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure how you should take that.
Well, I punched him and he went, "Is there a fly here?"
We got a bunch of people watching right now. Pro Fan Talk. Thanks for being with us, James Masanto. That's how you say your name. Thanks for being Nate Moss. Yes, sir. Yeah, hey, Nate Moss. Thanks for being with us. Yeah, JD Stroh. Thanks for being with us today. Thanks for chiming in. I want to take you back because we just skimmed it a little bit. Right. The fact that we don't have much depth at wide receiver. We don't have any depth at wide receiver. We have two great ones and a great tight end, but after that, everything's questionable.
Whoa. So you don't believe in Quez Watkins? You don't believe in Quez Watkins?
Not yet. When guys, just like when a guy gets in his own head, and that's Quez is talented. There's no doubt about it. He's at the professional level. He can play, but for some reason, he's in his head. He's lost his confidence, or I don't know about this year, but that's getting in the way. When a guy's mind interferes with his ability to play, it's tough to come back from, particularly when it lasts for a while. And I saw him struggle all of last year. He struggled the whole season last year. So it's important for him to start off well. It's important for him to start off with a bang this year, because if he doesn't, he's going to struggle even more. That's just with any athlete. I mean, look at Trey Turner right now. Right?
I understand.
He's a mess. It's not because he can't play. It's because he's in his head.
No, I agree. I understand it's a mental game. I will say this about Quez. He did make some plays last year. He does have the physical capabilities.
Right.
And I think he just needs to put it all together. We've seen a lot of young players who sometimes you put it all together, sometimes you don't. So I think this is that kind of season for Quez Watkins, if you will, a crossroads kind of season.
Yep, he's got to go out and do it. But talk to me about this guy, Deion Kane. Do you know anything about him?
Yeah, we love
USFL wide receiver.
He was on the Eagles training camp roster last year.
Mm-hmm.
Had a good preseason, and was really making a push to at least be on the practice squad. He was on the practice squad through October.
Okay.
Looks great in uniform. Had a very good experience in the USFL.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about. It comes down to, again, consistency.
Right.
He has not displayed that kind of consistency in his career yet. So, but looks the part. And I think there's some other players there that I'm looking. Tyreek Cleveland. I'm looking forward to seeing some of these young receivers that the Eagles have loaded up on.
What about Hasselwood?
I kind of reserve judgment until I see that.
But I'm not talking about judgment. I'm talking about it's like I know the head coach in Arkansas, and he said he's a good player. I just want to. It's like so. He's one of the kids that I was going to be checking out a little bit, because I saw what he did in college, and he's pretty decent. So
there's a handful of those kind of guys, Hollis, and we'll see what they do. Hey, look, I want to see Devin Allen, who starts the camp on a non-football injury list. He's got a calf injury. He'll be back soon, hopefully. But I want to get him back. I want to see what kind of improvement he made, because I was impressed with Devin Allen last year. The way he did the dirty work last year. demonstrated to me that he's taking this very, very seriously.
He wants
to play in the NFL.
The only thing, Dave, that I thought that he could have did was I felt like he could have did more football stuff in the offseason to do what you said, to fine tune some things. Because when I first got there, and I don't think you weren't there yet. All the old guys was like, the more you could do, the more you could do. So I was like, oh God. I was on kickoff return, Dave. I was on kickoff return. And it was brutal.
I'm just of the mindset, Dave, that it's tough to do both of those events, or to run track and to play football, to do both very well. I think he needs to take his time and think about it and focus on one or the other. Because when he's doing track, it's taken away from football. When he's doing football, it takes away from his ability to focus on track.
Yeah, and I see Devin Allen as another player who's not necessarily at the same kind of crossroads as a Quinn.
Right.
But he needs to show significant development to remain on the practice squad here or make that run to the active roster. Now, at tight end, I do think the Eagles are in better shape, Irv, than you believe. Okay. I like Jack Stoll. I like Jack Stoll as a blocker, short and a short area guy. I want to see Grant Calcaterra.
Yeah, that's what I want. That's what I want to see too, because he was out of what was he out of SMU, right? Calcaterra was out of SMU.
He had concussion problems. I think he was first at Oklahoma. He was at Oklahoma, then he retired at SMU.
Okay.
And there may have been one other school, West Virginia, I think, maybe in that mix as well. But he runs really good routes. He's very athletic, and as we all know, that year from rookie season to second year is where you make the most improvements. So we'll see that. And then I want to tell you something. The young guy, Tyree Jackson.
That's what I want to know about.
He had a huge day on Wednesday, first day of practice.
I saw you tweet about him, yeah.
Yeah, he really, really had a big day. It was great to see multiple targets, multiple big plays in the red zone where you have to use your body. Right. He did that very well. And then there's a guy named Dan Arnold who's been in the league a long time.
Right.
Who's been around, who gives you some assurance that you've got experience behind Dallas Goedert. I think there are more candidates, Irv, than you think. We'll see how it looks at the end of preseason.
Right. Yeah, I hope so. Listen, we got to go to another commercial break. Big dog. Yeah, you got to read, big dog. We'll be back, Dave. Stay. Hang in there.
Hang around, Dave. Stick around as I give them the instructions to get this damn Skippy t-shirt from phillysportshirts.com. But if you're like me, the Eagles training camp has just started. So I know you're looking at the Eagles schedule, trying to pick out which game that you would like to go to. Well, just if you leave all the worrying up to us at phillysportshirts.com, you can go and order the full package, or you can get tailgate tickets or tailgate happy hour and tickets, or you can, mix it up. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention our baller ass bus trips. The lady just mentioned them. The bus trips will be quick and stellar. We're going to New York and we're going to DC. You tell them that you heard it from the Tank on A2D Radio. That's phillysportstrips.com and phillysportshirts.com, and tell them that the Tank sent you.
Good read there, Tank.
No worries.
That's my big dog right there. Hey, Dave, tell us how important it is for Jordan Davis to get off to a good start this year.
No doubt. I actually wrote this in the offseason that one of the keys to me when you evaluate the Eagles and how they've treated their personnel, they lose Javon Hargrave, who signed the biggest contract in free agency with the San Francisco 49ers, right?
Right.
And then I think it's possible that they are going to be better at defensive tackle because of the development of Milton Williams, the selection of Jalen Carter, and the second year of Jordan Davis, who's in great physical condition.
I saw
that first year to the second year jump. I consider last year's draft class part of this year's draft class. I think Jordan Davis is primed for a big season. Still got to see it. No pads yet, but still got to see it.
Yeah, but
I'm really excited about it.
But to convey what you guys mean about that first and second year jump, Spuds, my rookie year, I had 61 tackles and 1 sack. My second year, I led the team in tackles with 98, and I had 3.5 sacks and 20 quarterback hits.
Yeah, and you had already figured it out, though, Hollis.
No. It's like the second. I'm talking about the big jump from the second to the second year.
Yeah.
That was like my second year. I did that. It was like, and you guys are correct, because the first thing that I ran into was wondering if I belong first. Then second, knowing where to be at and learning the playbook. Then third, it's a rookie wall that we hit. That all of us hit it. It's like in November around Thanksgiving when you used to get ready for either a bowl game or going home to for Christmas break, and you hit that wall. But I was fortunate enough to have the older guys like them to say, "Hey, bring your lithic ass here. Take you to get some vitamins and stuff to pep you up and to get you through this." Because I watched Jeffrey Osborne my rookie year. I watched Jeffrey Osborne in San Francisco sing the national anthem. So it's I think I'm looking for that big jump from Jordan Tooth. But it's like but the most part, the one part that I want that I'm looking for from him is to lead a little bit. But I'm looking for Milton and the other guy to help him out. Milton and Jalen.
And again, I'm gonna credit that for being part of the culture too. The veterans help the young players.
Mm-hmm.
Milton Williams, Fletcher Cox, they help Jordan. They help Jalen Carter.
Right.
You see last year, N'Kobe Dean, a third-round draft pick, hardly plays at the regular makes a contribution on special teams every single day, preparing himself to play. Learn from Kaiser White, learn from TJ Edwards, and now it's N'Kobe's turn. So. Yeah. Look, I think as we look at the Eagles now, there are more questions about the defense, clearly, than the offense. The offense returns everyone except for Sayamalo at right guard and Miles Sanders at running back and Zach Pascal. Otherwise, this offense is coming back intact. That's exciting. On the defensive side, lots of new faces, a new coordinator. It'll be, I think, crucial that these older players, get these younger players up to speed very quickly, because they're not going to play and they're not tackling in training camp. They're not going to tackle in the joint practice.
They're doing a whole lot of nothing. They're doing a whole lot of nothing in training camp.
Hey, Spuds, how imperative is Morrow to the defense, especially since he was with Desai in Chicago?
Yeah, I mean, I like Nicholas Morrow a lot. He played 100% of the snaps last year for the Bears. Works hard, stronger than you think, big body.
Yeah.
I think he's kind of one of those players you go, I don't know anything about him. I don't know how good he's going to be. I think at the end of the season you're going to go, he's a pretty good player. Hey, look, it helps when you've got when you've got a front eight, a front seven.
Yeah.
That will be really the front eight. That is deep and talented and will bring players in waves against. That keeps your linebackers clean, man.
Yeah.
Those N'Kobe and more, they should have clean runs to the ball.
Yes. And the funny thing. The funny thing you say that because I remember after they traded myself and Corey and I think we was playing against Indianapolis. The Eagles playing against Indianapolis, and Trot was talking about the tiny defensive lineman in front of him. I was like, he got spoiled. No, it was funny though.
But no, it's true. I think every linebacker should buy a defensive lineman. A very nice holiday gift. Yeah, because they are so important. The defensive line is, and that is what the Eagles have long believed. Build from the line of scrimmage out. Make sure you have your quarterback. And that's kind of been the formula. Jeffrey Lurie, in 29 seasons as the owner, 17 playoff appearances, 10 division titles, 7 NFC championship games, 3 Super Bowl appearances, and 1 win. We wish there were more Super Bowl spots and Lombardi trophies here. Yeah. But it's not a bad run at all.
No. You mentioned JT, big dog. That is a player. That's a young man who made that second year leap. His first year didn't do much, played special teams and played a little bit at the end of the season. But that second year,
great example,
was a breakout year for him.
Was it his second or was it his third year? Because
his second year.
When did Trot get drafted?
So Trot got drafted in '98 by Ray Rose.
Okay.
And then Andy Reid came in 1999.
Yeah, because that's when Double J came in, Jim.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Johnson.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Not Jimmy. Jim.
I know Jim. Jim Johnson.
Yeah,
I know Jim Johnson. I know.
Dave, you tweeted about Bradbury yesterday.
Oh, he's great.
And his performance in the first day of practice. What was that all about? I mean, we all know that he's a good corner with Slay on the other side. We're counting on them to have big years again this year, to be those shutdown guys, particularly when the Miami Dolphins come in town. They're gonna have their work. They're gonna have their hands full that day.
Oh my God!
I'm gonna be at that game. I got to see this. But you tweeted about him yesterday. What was going on?
He was sticky in coverage. He had hands all over the football. He was big against Dallas, got a lot of red zone work, and he was outstanding. And he makes you think that penalty in the Super Bowl, I believe that every player has a chip on his shoulder one way or another.
Right.
You guys will invent a narrative that suits
create
you,
something.
fine.
Yep. To piss us off. Yep.
But
and I think that's what it is for James. I think that's what James is pissed off about.
I think what it is for James is Juju Smith-Schuster had the nerve to act like he had done something all game and that he did something on that play. I'm like, dude, they were not calling holding the entire game. I was pissed that they made their call and decided to decide the game. I was like, but call the game, call it even, just call it.
Yeah, it's very painful.
Yes,
it was very painful.
And you don't want to bitch and moan about it, but come on, come on.
Yeah.
It was a
talk to us about. I mean, you're there. I mean, these are not players, but Brian Johnson and Sean Desai, the new offensive and new defensive coordinators. How do you see things? What kind of changes do you anticipate? How quickly? I was listening to the radio, and I guess there was some talk about some of the language offensively being changed. So there was somewhat of an adjustment in terms of the verbiage, which kind of can set the offense a little bit behind the defense in terms of developing, starting at training camp. Talk to us about those two guys.
I don't think that the offense will be entirely different or really even noticeably different, other than how will you use DeAndre Swift.
Right.
But there's always going to be tweaks. Brian Johnson was part of the game plan.
Right.
So when they game plan during the week, it is a collection of, Stoutland and Nick and the offensive coordinator and the quarterback's coach and etc.
Right.
And then they narrow it down, and then then it's the coordinator's job or whoever's calling the plays on Sunday to make sure that is communicated. I don't think Brian's going to have any problem.
Right.
I don't either. I think it's going to be great. Yeah.
Right.
I think now the defense. I think there are going to be some maybe slightly more easy to discern than subtle differences. I think that there's more options here. I think they're very, very deep up front. How can you, for example, Sean, pair Nolan Smith and Hassan Reddick? Is there a way to get both of them on the field?
Yeah.
You want to know?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I think that he's going to do, and it's what you do when you have those type of guys. Is you bring those five, what the offensive line would call five linemen, and you bring them out there and you rush one and you don't rush the other, or you rush both of them and you drop like Jalen Carter. They did some stuff at the University of Georgia where Jalen Carter dropped into the middle, because he's that rangy, but it's like you have to trick the offensive line, and I think this is what I call it organized chaos, because you don't have to always blitz, but you have to keep the offense on notice, and you have to give them something different than cover 5 and man under and a 4-man rush. It's like they can't know every time, they can't know who's rushing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was the genius of Jim Johnson, right? Like we all called him a blitzer, but it was really he was the master of the illusion. The illusion of pressure.
It was what if I told you that we had what some people call the blitz, and only the corners were coming and the 2 defensive tackles, and everybody else dropped in coverage, and we got a sack every time we called it. The name of it was called Dakota. That's the signal for Dakota.
Like
genius stuff. Yeah.
I think Sean has the personnel to do that. I mean, they're very good at cornerback. They're fast to linebacker. They've got great depth up front. I'm a humongous Reed Blankenship fan. I think Terrell Edmonds is a solid player. I think Sidney Brown has a chance to be a factor in this defense before the season's out.
What about
Justin Evans comes in? Yeah, we'll see. I mean, he got back after the knee injuries. Played well for the Saints last year. Can he still progress and be healthy and earn reps and earn what the coaches need? Show what the coaches need. I don't know that yet. I haven't seen him in pass. I'm not going to research. I'm not going to do hot takes.
Oh no, I don't want a hot take. I'm just like you, but you seen more than I have, and I just want to know.
Yeah.
It's like because you can't tell. You can tell a little bit. You can tell when the guy knows where he's supposed to be at. The second part is can he knock somebody down. The first part is knowing where you're supposed to be at. And if you don't know where you're supposed to be at, they're not gonna put you on the field, no way.
You
and it's like
play.
You said,
That's
Ernie,
right.
you have to earn your reps, you have to earn your way on. So those quality, those mental sessions and those mental practices, when your number is called, if you don't know what to do, then they're not gonna put you out there because you haven't earned their trust.
And that's what I think is so fascinating about the way the NFL runs its spring and summer practices and camps, because the emphasis really is on the cerebral side of it, not as much on the physical side.
Right.
How do you tell if a player? How do you tell if your player is going to make it? How do you make a 90-man roster dwindle down to 53 with one cut, with 3 preseason games, with joint practices, but nobody tackles? There's not going to be a tackle. So
the thing, Super Dave, is that Dave, the thing I think that you have to do is just like if you're in the right position at the right time and you flashing and you doing what you're supposed to be doing, you remember everybody else is looking at this. So you're not only practicing for the Birds, you're practicing for the other 30-some teams that's in the NFL. And if they see something that they like on the tape, then you're good. I was like, because like you said, we pretty much have got our 22 that we feel, and it's some backup people that we want, and there's some other people that are going to be on the edge. So
speaking of that, Dave,
one final thing: practice squad has never been more important.
Right.
You have seen the Eagles get contributions from practice squad players, so
correct.
You really have to be on point, picking and cutting down that roster.
Right.
And one thing, go ahead, Irv.
All right, just I wanted to add a little bit to what you were saying, Dave, and both of you were saying with regards to the practices and, trying to evaluate guys and really not playing a whole lot. Yesterday, Sirianni stopped the music and started fussing at everybody.
Yes.
When, early into the 11-on-11, when they were doing full team offense against full team defense, because there were a bunch of mental errors. What's up with that with Sirianni? Is he taking things to another level in terms of his intensity and coaching and what you're seeing, or is that something that happened last year as well?
Yeah, the only difference is he's got a bullhorn now. So
he's got the bullhorn.
He got a bull. Oh,
yeah.
He's louder now. So he's louder now.
Yeah, exactly. And Nick is look. If your practices are only going to be an hour to an hour and a half,
right?
And that's what they are in training. You better make them quality. And
exactly.
You can't take reps off, and you've got to maintain your focus, and you've got to maintain your edge. And I think this is just an example of Nick making sure that the players have that edge, have that focus, and don't make mental mistakes.
Right.
There's nothing that drives a coach crazier than mental mistakes.
Well, particularly when you're only out there for an hour. I mean, again, you've seen both sides. You've seen training camp when Hollis and I were in the league, and see training camp now. I was watching or listening to Brandon Graham make comments about coming into training camp, and he was happy. He was happy to come into training camp. I played 17 years in the league. I was never happy to come to training camp. Never, ever. I was in shape, just trying to get through training camp to get to the season. Happy the season was going to start, and we were closer to the season, but not happy to come to training camp. So what kinds of improvement do you see? I know they do this to try to prevent injury, soft tissue injuries, and to preserve guys, to keep their legs fresh, so on and so forth. That's why they do it. But yet still, we're still seeing soft tissue injuries. Yeah,
and knock on wood, the Eagles didn't have a lot of them last year. They were able to get to the Super Bowl and have 22 starters play. But it's definitely it's a totally different world now.
Right.
There's an emphasis on a lot of meaningful movement. There's a lot of emphasis on flexibility training. Eating right, making sure you eat right, stay super hydrated. That's a big part of it. And don't throw them out there to knock the living crap out of each other. Play really well for the fans. Fans love
you're gonna have to knock the crap out of somebody sooner or later.
I know. The one thing, Spuzz, that I was looking at was they did a walkthrough. Now, my last year was with the Carolina Panthers. Our last 4 games of the season, we won, and we didn't practice a single time. We walked through on Thursday and Friday. Actually, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we had a walkthrough because for some odd reason, when it's like slightly bad weather in North Carolina, they don't have like it. They told me it was snowing outside, Do you know the snow was blowing around and it hadn't stuck, and they had shut the city down? It rained. It rained. We practiced that. We practiced in the concession stand area in the stadium. That's what we did our walkthrough the whole rest of the season, and we won every game. So you're right. It's like you got to take those mental reps and know where you're supposed to be at, because at a certain point you should know what you have to do. But it's like, is it a question of, do you know what to do?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, never has it been more important to know your playbook. Like, you can't fake it. You cannot fake what is happening in the playbook. So there is a lot of emphasis on the mental game. They've become very creative in teaching form tackling, and that's like, teaching rubber partitions, whatever, rubber donuts, making sure that things are taught well, just not at the expense of other people. And we talked about this before. It's a different world.
Right.
And I think the Eagles they've got a young coaching staff that relates to people.
Yes, they're cool.
And I think that really helps as well. So
now,
I don't know. I mean, look, I'm very hopeful for this team.
Now, Spuds, I will give you this about Quez. I do like the fact that he hasn't Jalen Ragered it up. Now, when I say Jalen Ragered it up, Jalen Ragered was like Sybil. Well, he was like Sybil on social media. He started cursing everybody out. Right. He started talking trash. Then he shut his account down. Then he come back and he's talking trash again. And then leading up to the game playing against, when he was, I was like, he started talking more trash, and didn't do diddly poo.
Didn't do nothing.
Yeah, we couldn't do diddly poo. We couldn't.
I really rooted for him. I really rooted for him, and it just didn't translate.
Yeah.
And I wish him the best of luck. I mean, nice.
That's kind of the same situation that Quez is in. It's similar. I'm talking about his play on the field. He has to produce right off the bat.
Rager didn't do nothing.
No, I know Rager didn't do anything, but I'm saying Quez Watkins this year,
first round draft pick.
Quez has got to produce right away. He can't.
Let me ask you guys.
He has very minimal. Let me say it this way. He has minimal room for error.
Okay.
Minimal room for error. He's got to produce. Dave, we lost.
I'm here. You asked me. You have expressed concern about wide receiver, about tight end, about tight end. Anything else? Any other position? Hollis, nothing for you on defense. You don't let go.
Well, yeah, I had to. I still have the. You already said it. You talked about the safety, and you talked about the guy stepping up at linebacker. I feel like we got the good guys up front. We got a good mix of veteran and young guys on the D line. I was like, but in the linebacker position, we're gonna be fairly young. And that's why I was asking you about Morrow. Was it a good thing that he's been with the side before, and he's a big time physical player. But then you already told me who you like at safety, and I'm a Blankenship fan myself, and I like the fact that we got Evans and Sidney is my boy. I love the way he plays. I watched him in college. He was a great kid. And then the thing about him is we didn't mention Avonte Maddox. What do you think they're going to do with Avonte? You think he's going to be one of those Swiss Army knives? Like, because I think,
he's got a toe injury right now, doesn't he?
Yeah. So that toe is from last year. That's the injury against the Cowboys. Was able to play in the Super Bowl. Wasn't all there. Recovering, should be okay. I mean, I think Avonte is a really good slot cornerback. So I'm not that interested in like moving him around or developing him into something else.
No. When I say Swiss Army knife, it's like, remember when I told you about Hassan Reddick and Roland? It's like those guys they're going to be standing up sometimes, and you don't know if they rush or if they drop into the coverage. I feel like he's going to be one of those guys who are sometimes we need an extra set of hands on the field because they got a bunch of people out there, and we need an extra set of hands, but we also need his physical ability to come up and make a tackle. And that's why I say, when I say Swiss Army knife, you can use them in a bunch of different ways.
Guys, we got to pause one more time. We have one more commercial before we get to the last segment of the show. All right, hang in there with us, Dave. Go ahead, Ralph.
Got it.
Hey, Birds fans, the NFL schedule has arrived and Philly Sports Trips has all the details now. Visit the site phillysportstrips.com. This is sure to be an epic season. Be sure to go there now to make sure that you don't get shut out. Join us in Tampa, LA, Seattle, or when we get revenge in Kansas City. Don't want to fly? No problem. Gather up your crew and hop aboard one of our signature boisterous bus trips to DC or New York. Sign up now and make sure to mention A2D. Don't miss out on the best Philly fan experience anywhere. Philly Sports Trip customers always stay at the best hotels and meet NFL legends. Book today.
All right. We're back for our last segment with Dave Spadaro from the Eagles Insider, our man with the plan. Got all the information. Tom Arnold, what's going on? That's our guy right there. Can't wait. Almost Eagle season. That's Tom? Right. Yeah, what's going on, Tom? Listen, Dave, again, you are the inside guy. And a lot of people, you listen to all the shows, people are talking, but they're talking from the outside in, giving their opinions about what they think and what this team is going to do and how good this team is. You've been on the inside. Mm-hmm. How good is this team? Is this some say this is the best Eagles team ever. That's I've heard people say that. I don't know about that. I kind of beg to differ. I thought the Eagles were pretty good when I was on the Eagles. I know we weren't this good, but but I thought we did all right. But anyway, how good is this team? Is this the best Eagles team that you've seen?
Irv, if you had Jalen Hurts at quarterback, how many catches would you have?
Oh, my record would not have gotten broken last year, the 17th game of the season. Yeah, it would still be intact.
How good is this team? Remains to be seen, of course, because we know that they won the Super Bowl in 2017. I thought last year's team was just awesome, but they didn't win the Super Bowl. And so, again, what I'm impressed with is that the Eagles reloaded the.
Okay, he's coming back. He came back last time. Just come on back, Dave.
What'd you do?
I didn't do anything.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, there we go. I'm sorry about that.
What did you do? We don't see your picture. There you are.
No,
okay.
You
got excited.
They reloaded the roster. I love the mix. I think that the draft class is really special, potentially. But there were 22 healthy starters for the Super Bowl last year.
Yep.
Right.
If the Eagles can get through the season healthy,
yes,
they're going to be serious contenders. I think I think the offense has a chance to be better. Right. I think they're at the running back position with Swift and with some depth there. I love it. I think offensive line. I think Sayamalo is a good player, but I'm excited to see Cam battle Tyler Steen, battle Jack Driscoll, battle Sua Opeta, etc.
And Tooth.
Excited to see.
Don't forget Tooth.
Yeah.
The Tooth.
Right.
I just got one quick question for you, Dave.
Okay.
So I was at the draft in Kansas City. So when we were able to get Jalen Carter, but then we were able to stay in the first round and get Nolan Smith. What were you thinking? Because I was there. And I was with Troy Vincent and Bobby Taylor. And when that happened, I was like, oh, God.
Right? Everybody thought that they would trade out of the first round, pick up extra selections.
Right.
And to the credit of Howie Roseman, he didn't make a trade just to make a trade. He didn't see an offer that he liked. Right. So he stayed there, and he took a player, Nolan Smith, who the Eagles had as a top 15 talent.
Yes, Everybody had him there.
Yeah. So I mean, who is like the total package?
Yes,
mature, great work ethic, very intelligent, extremely tough. I think everybody's kind of enamored of his ability to use his speed and get to the quarterback, but he sets the edge in the run game. He's very, very physical against the run. Yep. So I'm extremely excited about this draft class and the way that they reloaded the roster. So to answer your question, I think the Eagles will go as far as good health. A bit of good fortune takes them. They have every piece of the puzzle on paper. Now let's get to the games, and see how they play those games.
Yeah.
Don't turn the ball over. Don't play.
I'm going to put you on the spot. Put you on the spot. Give me a record this year. What's the win-loss record?
So That's Irv. You know, I'm the homer, right?
I know.
I don't go
Well,
into
you're
any
not.
game
No,
thinking
you're
we're
not
gonna
going to
lose.
say they're going to go undefeated. I mean, we want them to
I'm
go
not-
undefeated, but that's not realistic.
I mean, okay. I'll go 16. I'll go 16-1 at the end of the season. Eagles rest their starters. for that
Dave
last
trying to keep his job, Hollis.
No. He's not the only one because one of my esteemed colleagues on 4th and John, Mal, he feels like we're gonna go 17-0. That's what he says. They say that's the record. But to what Dave is thinking, it's like it's no game on our schedule that I'm going into. It's like now when the fans come to the stadium, we're expecting to win.
Well, yeah,
we're not like, oh God, I hope we do this. I hope we don't do that. We're expecting to win.
Yeah, last year at the beginning of the season when we were looking at the schedule, there were some question marks because we didn't know. I mean, going into last season, it was still, Jalen Hurts was still a question mark in a lot of people's minds.
Only to some of us, not to me.
Right. I said in a lot of people's minds. I didn't say us. I said in a lot of people's minds, Jalen Hurts was still a question mark. Obviously,
there's still people eating crow.
Well, they're
Crow.
blind. Their heads are in the sand. They just don't know what's going on.
John from Carl's Car Shop.
If they're questioning Jalen Hurts and his ability to lead this team, and whether or not he's the future quarterback, there's something wrong with them.
Sorry.
I can't imagine doubting Jalen.
Not at all.
One of the things that was the way that he brought the Eagles back after they fell behind in the Super Bowl, went right down the field, scored a touchdown,
oh my God,
and then converted the 2-point conversion.
Right.
Was as impressive a drive as I've ever seen. And I have no doubt that had the Eagles gotten the ball back with 1:42 left on the clock, they would have gone down, scored, and won the football game.
Well, even when they got the football back, and I still thought that something magical was going to happen with the few seconds they had left on. I still thought something. I really did. I felt inside that something special is going to. Jalen's going to make something special happen, and we're still going to win this game. But obviously it didn't. And
not to be. But I wrote this about Jalen today on PhiladelphiaEagles.com. Triple threat, right? We all think that he's a dual threat. Look at that arm. Look at those legs. But it's up here. He's smart.
Right.
He knows what he's seeing. He's got the work ethic. He's got the determination.
Poise.
Jalen Hurts is the total package.
Right. Cool customer, poise.
Yeah.
And you're right. That's what sets him apart. He's got the ability, like Randall Cunningham had the ability. Not saying that Randall was not a smart quarterback, but his work ethic. He can throw the ball, but his mental capacity, man, is just superior. It's superior, and it shows on the field and it shows off the field. It shows in his interviews because he some of his comments and responses to some of the questions just kind of blow people away. They're like, "Huh? For real? Did he really just say that?"
His maturity is crazy, and he's thoughtful. And I mean, look, Jalen Hurts is a cerebral quarterback. I never hear anybody refer to Jalen Hurts as a cerebral quarterback. I hear them refer to him as an exciting quarterback, a game-breaking quarterback, a running quarterback who's gotten better in the pocket. No. He has it all, and it starts with his brain. Right. And all of the things that he went through in Alabama and the ups and the downs and the challenges that he had has all served him very well at the NFL level.
Yep. And that's for all of us. The challenges we have in life, the ups and the downs, it's supposed to serve us well, prepare us for what we have to deal with later on in life, and it's supposed to make us better. Dave, thank you, man. Always awesome.
Super Dave.
My pleasure. That was a great hour, guys.
I gave you a call, man. You responded right away. I don't know if you'll be up there tomorrow, but I'll be up there tomorrow at 9 o'clock. I'll see you tomorrow, brother.
I will see you on Friday, guys. Thank you so much. Fly Eagles, fly, go Birds, and
go Birds, baby.
Let's take it all the way this year.
Yes, sir. Big year.
I have your shirt when I see you, Dave.
All right, guys. Yeah, you got it. Thank you, my man. Thank you. Thanks, Hollis. Take care, guys.
All right, buddy. Yep. Thanks. Y'all, that's Dave Spadaro.
Spuds.
Eagles Insider. We call him Spuds. Yeah, we call him Spuds. It's not his name's not spelled that way, but we call him Spuds. He's just a great guy. And congratulations to him again on his engagement. Listen, before we get out of here, we have history with Hollis. Here's Big Dog with some history. You got some history for us today?
I got a little bit of history for you. Today is July the 27th, 2023. It's the 208th day of the year. There's 157 of these suckers left, man.
Wow.
Today's national holidays is Creme Brulee Day.
Creme
So,
brulee.
yeah, it's also Chicken Finger Day. It's
Oh,
Chili
I
Dog Day.
I don't do chili dog.
It's Scotch Day and Refreshment Day.
Refreshment.
Yes. And I got some events here for you. Alexander P. Ashbourne, he patents the process for refining coconut oil. Yes, coconut oil.
Wow.
In 1890, Van Gogh, he attempts suicide. He dies 2 days later. The interesting thing about him was he died young, but he had like over 900 paintings that we still look at. And it's like he was painting like it's phenomenal how he got all those paintings done in short.
He was kind of, I guess he was too high strung, huh?
A little bit. I'll just go with yeah. He was kind of crazy. In 1909, Orville Wright, he tested the very first military plane. It went 1 hour and 12 minutes. Guess how far he got? 40 miles. 40 miles. It's a way different time now.
Yes, sir.
In 1988, I put this in here because as a young kid, Radio Shack was a place for computers and all things electronic when I was growing up. In 1988, they released the Tandy 1000 SL computer. It was slower than molasses, dude. In 1991, we have the TV Guide publishes. See, we don't even have TV Guide anymore. The TV Guide publishes 2000th edition. And they got some quick birthdays here. You remember Hugh Green?
Hugh Green. I'm going down to Miss Jackson, Mississippi. I'm going down to preach for him next month. Yes, sir. I'll be in his church.
His birthday is 1959 today. Donnie Yen. I don't know if you know who Donnie Yen is. Donnie Yen is an extremely good martial artist, and he's an actor and a martial artist in most of the action martial arts film. Today is the 1969 Triple H's birthday. Today is Maya Rudolph's birthday, 1972. 1975, Alex Rodriguez. That's what I got for you on this.
All right, I'm gonna have to text Hugh and tell him happy birthday.
I played a couple rounds ago. Actually, we was paired together in at Jaws' tournament, and he was cracking me up.
He's good. He's a good guy. We're going fishing while I'm down there. We're going fishing. I'm going to preach at his church.
Oh, cool.
And I'm staying at his house. So Jackson,
like
Mississippi. Yeah.
Jackson, Mississippi.
Second week of August. Yeah. Listen, thanks for being with us today. Shout out to everybody in the comments. James Thompson. What's that? Wealthy Mind. Frank Vespi. Is that how you say that?
Frank,
is that right?
Frank, it looked like it says Vespi.
Island Smoothies. Yeah.
Committed Fathers.
Yes. Yes, Committed Fathers.
Okay, Joy. And Dolan's Bar, they stopped in for us. PJ.
All right, Dolan's. All right. Yeah. PJ, good to see you guys. Thanks for being with us today on this. We had a great guest today. If you missed it, go back and watch this after it posts. We had Dave Spadaro, Eagles Insider. Great insight, great information, great man. Getting married too. He's off the market, ladies. We'll be back next week, Thursday, 5 p.m. right here on A2D Radio. This is Vetted. Irving Fryar, Hollis Thomas.